Hey guys, Philosopher here, and today I want to talk about the new milestones and milestone orbs that are in the game. I think these are definitely an interesting change. They change up the strategy a little bit of the game, and I think they tell us a little bit about what the developers are planning. So first of all, I've got here, you could see the new milestones, and they're interesting. You can actually compare them to the old ones here. So the old milestones, and it looks like, whoops, I forgot to spend up to 2.7 million. Usually I spend exactly to 2.7 every day. I was a little busy at work today. But if you look here, it was just a bunch of milestones. You had some blue gear. These were purple gear credits. As you can see, I've built up a lot of both, right? I don't really use much blue and purple gear anymore. And then there's a little bit of cores, very little in the case of orange gear. You could see these orange gear raid orbs. It stopped at 2.7. Now here, first of all, the milestones go all the way up to 4 million. So now you technically are getting some level of reward if you go to the end. But I have to say, guys, really the rewards drop off very significantly after 2.375, which I find interesting. Before it was 2.7 million. Now they've increased, and they kind of dropped off after 1 million, but not nearly this severely. Not nearly this much. So now, they drop off very heavily after 2.375. I don't think it's worth going over 2.375 for most people. These are pretty meager rewards. I mean, these are Armory 15. I mean, maybe if you're really trying to get your Gear 15s up, but these fragments it's only 50 fragments. It's not a lot. But the rewards up to 2.375 are very significant. Particularly getting these orange elite orbs, the Armory 15s, and then they have some Armory 14s in here as well. I'm trying to find those. Here's the Armory 14. So I do think that's significant. And I guess what this tells me is that this lends more credence to the idea that Gear Tier 16, which I think is on the way fairly soon, is going to require red gear and be a wholly new color. Because, what we've seen in data mines, so, and you can see, by the way, the data mines, if you go to msf.gg. So, if you go there, you can actually see, if you go to the different, maps, for example, I'll pull this up right now so we could take a look at it. If you go to, I'm looking now. This is msf.gg. If we go here, you could see what's in the game. There's a Doom 2 raid here. The map is literally in the game files. And if you look, and if you go in the data mines, essentially the reward for this Doom 2 raid is red gear. So I do think red gear is on the way. And I will say that if Scopely was following the same progression that they usually do, we would have one more tier of orange before we get to red. But it looks like maybe orange will fall off. We'll have one less tier, and we're going to get right to red because they're really loosening up orange gear. They're loosening it up significantly. Maybe we'll still be in orange when it comes to Gear Tier 16, but I wouldn't hold my breath on that. That's what this tells me. But I think for most players, this would be the absolute stopping point. One thing I will say is that for a lot of players, they were stopping in the old milestones right at 1 million. And I think I could still see some argument for that because you don't get cores past 1 million. But I do think these other rewards are significant enough that now if you're a player who, you're spending maybe a little bit on gold or something else, I do think there's a reward until you hit this point. For us streamers who are bringing up characters in one day and getting way past 2.3 million, not so much in the array of rewards. But look, energy is getting rewards as well. I think there's been a pretty significant update there. And then if you look at World Warrior, what I find interesting there is that despite the orange gear increases, no increase in T4. So I don't see anything that suggests that they're going to loosen up T4s. I see a lot of people with speculation, which is just their guess or something, about T4s, they'll be T5 soon, but nothing in the game files that gives us that indication that I could see. Now, I do want to mention here regarding the Milestone 2 orbs, Supposedly they were going to greatly increase the stuff there. I don't see that here. In terms of the rewards, they really seem basically the same as before. Now we have Emma replacing Coulson. And then, so SSM now goes to the Coulson spot, the 30%, and Emma's the big drop. I actually think this is actually worse for new players. For a new player, SSM, Symbiote Spider-Man, is the more important character than Emma. But, now at least Emma is obtainable for, she was obtainable for free for people who were here playing a year ago. But if you started since that time, you had to buy her. There was no way to get her in the game. So I do think it's nice to the extent that, let's say, free-to-play players can get more Emma shards, but if you're a new player starting now, this is going to feel bad because for a lot of new players, getting symbiotes, for example, for the city portion of DD4 is significant. But I will say this. I mean, I think, and if you look, by the way, at the other rewards here, these are exactly the same as the Milestone 1 orbs, as far as I could tell, other than that they've added in these old ability orbs. They're not old, but these are the new orbs, but very, the lower level of ability material, which, this is helpful just to the extent that it's going to help players who run out of, these T2 and T3 mats. There actually are some alliances that are running Ultimus 6.5 from time to time because they have members who are running out of this blue material, T2 ability material, and they're buying it for gold in the store and all that. So this is good from that perspective. But these are not the increased rewards that we were promised. What I will say is nice, though. What I will say is nice on this side here. We are starting to see some Gear 14 and Gear 15 pieces on this side, which I think is a nice upgrade. And they are this kind of corresponds with the increase that we see in the milestones themselves. I mean, what this tells me is they definitely want to make Gear 14 and Gear 15 more accessible. I think that's a good thing. Those uniques were really way too expensive, way too hard to get for too long. I think that this really does help create a catch-up mechanic of sorts for new players. My advice to new players for a long time has been to beeline your way to Dark Dimension 2, 3, and 4, to use the same characters in all three of those modes, so that this way you are getting these massive rewards of thousands and thousands and thousands of pieces of orange gear. I mean, just for a new player, starting this game, getting 9,800 or, 14,000 pieces of orange gear and then all these crafted pieces can really transform your account. And other games like Galaxy Heroes don't have anything like that. I think it's quite a bonus and a nice gift from the developer. So I guess, that will help in terms of getting folks into those levels. But I do think that for most players, this isn't quite the boost that they are hoping for out of those milestone orbs. All right, what do you guys think? Shoot me, put your comments below. If you like this video, smash that like button, subscribe to this channel. Like I said, give me your comments below or put them on our Discord. Lots of great conversation there. Also, check out our Twitch stream. That's where all the magic's made. Try to stream most weeknights if I can.